Hi there, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Dax Suter, and we're here at National Taichung University of Science and Technology's Language Center. You've joined me here again today for another English story, and today's story is called The Model Millionaire. In this story, we learn about a charming young man who has a desire to marry a nice young woman, but he's unfortunately not good with his money. In the end of the story, we hear how he gets some unexpected help and eventually is able to marry the woman that he loves. Before we get started with the story, let's listen to a little bit of vocabulary, and maybe that can help us in the understanding of our story. Okay. First of all, millionaire. Peter became a millionaire by the time he was 30 years old. Millionaire. Accomplished. Faith is an accomplished scientist as well as a talented violin player. Accomplished. Profession. It's important to choose a profession that matches your personality. Profession. Retired. My grandfather used to work for this company, but now he's retired. Retired. Attractive. The apartment is in an attractive area with lots of shops and parks. Attractive. Sum. Tiffany spends a large sum of money each month on clothing and shoes. Sum. Studio. He visited the studio where the artists design stage sets. Studio. Beggar. The police officer gave the beggar a sandwich and a coffee. Beggar. Expression. Lindsay always has a happy expression on her face. Expression. Frame. I want to buy a new frame for this painting. Frame. Upset. Alvin was upset that not many people came to his party. Upset. Foolish. Getting angry at such a small problem is foolish. Foolish. Wealth. Sonia uses her power and wealth to help many people. Wealth. Remark. You did very well on the exam, the teacher remarked to her student. Remark. Rare. Extremely smart people are rare to find. Rare. Okay. Let's begin our story, and remember the name of the story is The Model Millionaire. Huey Erskine was a charming fellow. With brown hair and cool gray eyes, he was popular with everyone. Huey was quite accomplished in all areas of life, except when it came to making money. Living on just £200 a year in London, he had tried many times to go into business. However, his attempt at selling tea failed, and his project to market wine amounted to nothing. In the end, he was nothing but a handsome and charming young man with no profession. Huey was also in love. The apple of his eye was Laura Merton, the daughter of a retired colonel. The two lovers were the most attractive couple in the city, but they had no money. Although the colonel liked Huey well enough, he would not allow his daughter to marry the young man. Come to me, my boy, when you have got £10,000 of your own, and we will see about it, the colonel told him. With no job and no plan for the future, Huey felt disappointment when he heard the colonel's words. One morning, as Huey was on his way to see his beloved Laura, he stopped by the home of his good friend Alan Trevor. Alan was a well-respected artist whose pictures sold for large sums of money. When Huey entered the studio, he found Alan completing a painting of a pitiful old beggar. The beggar himself was posing in a corner of the studio, and there was a sad expression on his wrinkled face. "What an amazing model," whispered Huey, as he shook hands with his friend. "An amazing model?" asked Alan. "I should think so. Such beggars are not to be met with every day." Alan continued to paint as Huey watched and felt sorry for the elderly beggar. After some time, a frame maker arrived at the studio. When Alan went out to speak with him, the beggar sat down to rest his tired legs. Poor old fellow, Huey thought to himself, and he walked across the studio and slipped his last gold coin into the beggar's hand. "Thank you, sir," the man said. When Alan returned, Huey went home feeling silly for having given away all his money. Later that night, Huey walked into a club and found Alan sitting alone. When Huey asked him whether he had finished his newest painting, Alan replied, "Finished and framed, my boy. In fact, the model was quite interested in you. I told him all about Laura, the relentless colonel, and the 10,000 pounds. Huey was upset that Alan had told the beggar all about his private affairs. But Alan replied, "My dear boy, that old beggar is Baron Hausberg, one of the richest men in Europe." Huey went home that evening feeling more foolish than ever for having given a handout to a man of such wealth and importance. The next morning, Huey was greeted at home by one of the Baron's servants. In the man's hand was an envelope with the words, "A wedding present to Hugh Erskine and Laura Merton, from an old beggar." Looking inside, Huey saw a check for 10,000 pounds. When Huey and Laura were married, Alan Trevor was the best man, and the Baron made a speech at the celebration. Later, Alan was heard to remark, "Millionaire models are rare enough, but model millionaires are rarer still." Okay, so a happy ending to our story. Huey was able to marry Laura, the woman whom he loved, and was able to present the wedding money to the father, the retired colonel. Okay, let's listen to a few reading comprehension questions to test what you've understood about this story. Number 1. How does Huey feel about the old beggar knowing his problems? A, happy, B, bothered, C, excited, or D, bored? Think about it. Okay, our answer is B, bothered. Huey felt bothered about the old beggar knowing his problems. Number 2. According to the passage, who gave a speech at the wedding? Is it A, Laura, B, Alan, C, Huey, or D, Baron Hausberg? Think carefully. If you chose B, Hausberg made a speech at the celebration. So it was the Baron who made a speech at the wedding celebration. And Alan, again, was the best man. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed our story today. Please join me again next time for another English story. And in the meantime, take care. Bye-bye.